And welcome to Ask an Ecologist segment 2. My name is Suzanne Simpson. I'm an ecologist with Bayou Land Conservancy, and my guest host is Ron Burgundy, who is trying to really play to the camera right now. Ron is a corn snake and one of the pets that I have and was cooperating fully until moments ago. So we'll see how long this segment lasts with his participation. Thank you to all of you that submitted questions. We're still working remotely, Bayou Land Conservancy is, but we're happy to get to some of the questions that you submitted. So without further ado, let's go to question number 1. I know Ron is chomping at the bit, not literally though. All right, question number 1 is from Laura Griff. And Laura asked, what is this plant with the flowers? It grows like a weed in my yard, but I find it too pretty to remove. So Laura submitted a picture along with her question, and we're still not very high tech here at Ask an Ecologist, so I am going to show you the picture like that. All right, you can see it pretty well there. So Laura, the picture that you submitted is called Scarlet Pimpernel. So it's a flower that is probably native to the Mediterranean, but now it grows almost everywhere worldwide. So it's not native, but it also generally will respond to competition. And that means if you plant something alongside it in your garden, the Scarlet Pimpernel is generally not going to prohibit another native plant from growing. So for that reason, I don't think it's worth your effort to get all of it out of there. I think you can instead concentrate your efforts on adding some more natives to the garden, and it'll just be a nice complement. But it's Scarlet Pimpernel that you're seeing, and thank you for your question. Question number 2 comes from Mitchell Robertson. And Mitchell asks, what is the best tree to plant in my yard? I have space. Well, you have a lot of options, Mitchell, especially if you have space in your yard. And rather than go through every single species that you could select, I'll leave you with 2 things. Number 1, I always recommend selecting a native plant. It's going to be better adapted for the conditions of your yard, and it's also going to be more beneficial to the wildlife of your area. Number 2, I'm going to recommend that you go to the Texas A&M Forest Service's Tree Selector tool. So they've set up a tool that will ask you different questions about the space where you're trying to plant, and based off of your responses, they will select some of the best species that are for your unique yard. So you can get a lot of different options. Oh, you've gone through my shirt loop. You can get a lot of different options that way, and I think that that's probably your best bet in terms of starting your journey to find the best tree for your backyard. So thank you, Mitchell, for your question. Okay, question number 3 comes from Valentina Martinez, and her question is, what does an ecologist do on a normal day? Well, ecologists have a really diverse job. Ecologists could be out in the field delineating wetlands, which is really hard and hot work in the summer. You could be performing biodiversity assessments in the field. You could be meeting with landowners that are interested in conserving their land. Or you could be just doing office work and assessing your delineations or what have you in the office like a normal job. You could also, if you work for a nonprofit, you have the opportunity to wear a lot of different hats, and you could even be running a Facebook Live. So if you want a job that's different every day and that's also really rewarding, I would definitely recommend looking into ecology as a career path. Okay, now the main topic that I wanted to talk about today, and the reason that Ron Burgundy is my guest host, other than he looks great on camera, is, oh, where did you go? Okay, you're back there. Is I wanted to chat about snake safety. In the past week, I have gotten an influx of pictures sent to me from folks that are wondering what snake they're seeing in their yard or while they're walking along the trail, and I'm always happy to answer those ID questions, but the reason you're seeing more snakes is, number 1, it's getting hotter outside and it's springtime and snakes are ready to go and ready to, mate, ready to build up their energy reserves, just like any other animal in the animal kingdom during this time of year. But also, people are spending more time in their house and they're spending more time outdoors because of the situation with COVID-19. So people are definitely noticing more of the snakes that are occupying the same territory as them. So in the Houston area, there are 3 snakes that you really want to learn to ID really well, and that's the coral snake, the copperhead, and the cottonmouth. But in general, for your sake and for the sake of the snake, always give snakes a good distance whenever you see them on the trail or in your home. And a common comment that I receive is that people feel like they need to kill snakes, even if they're not sure of the ID, because they have children or pets around. But the vast majority of snake bites are happening when people are trying to kill the snake. So protect your family by protecting yourself first and by not attempting to come close enough to the snake to kill it. Instead, my recommendation would be if you have a garden hose, you can spray the snake, and that's usually going to get them to wander off somewhere else. Snakes don't want to be around you. They think that you're a giant monster. And even if they hold their ground whenever you approach them, that doesn't mean they're trying to be aggressive. They're just trying to be defensive about their territory. So most of them, if you spray them with a hose, are going to disappear. But the cottonmouth, the coral snake, and the copperhead, if you can ID those consistently and well, that is a great way to feel more confident about the snakes that you're seeing in your yard. And to that end, I would recommend joining a Snake ID Facebook group. One that I'm really fond of is the Southeast Texas Snake ID group. And in that group, you'll learn to identify both venomous and non-venomous snakes. And also, you'll get connected to people that will come to your house and remove a snake for you for free, just because they love snakes so much they don't want to see snakes killed. So consider that as an option whenever you see a snake coming across your yard. Okay, Ron, I think you've made a really good premiere on camera, and I think we're going to call it a week for us for now. We'll see you next week for the next Ask an Ecologist segment. Thank you for joining us, and please submit your questions to Bayou Land Conservancy on Facebook. We'll see you next time.